We're going to need to prioritize the musicals, which means the straight plays are going to have to be acoustic.
Quick question, what's a straight play?
There are musicals and then there are straight plays.
So then what would be a gay play?
I guess a musical.
Oh, cool.
I know this one's a theater camp classic, so send our regards to Broadway, bitch!
We only have 3 weeks to create a masterpiece. It's on you now. All on you.
Let's do this. And cue cocaine.
You need to know that only 3% of people make it. The rest end up in a mental facility or on a go-go box in Hell's Kitchen.
This is a complete disaster.
Everything is gonna be okay.
It doesn't work okay.
We're theater people. We know how to turn cardboard into gold.
You think this is fun and games? It's not fun. It's art.
Minor housekeeping issue. Whoever stole my CBD gummies, please return them. I'm pretty sure I know who it was.
Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
And in my previous life, I was a 17th century war general, but today I am Rhian Holmes. So
I don't want.
them.
Yeah, I don't want you to stop, but they are getting worse.
You didn't start very sophisticated. I just want to.
Excuse me?
No, I mean my intros. They didn't
Oh.
start in like a great place. So how much worse could they have really gotten?
Yeah, you're straddling a line of like, do I just do the most obvious thing, which
Well,
could land?
I was gonna do the thing they do on a lot of chat shows where they just say something random every time, and then you told me I couldn't do that because we did Best in Show, and you were like, it's got to be dog themed.
Well, what did you do on Best on Show?
I was like AI generated sidekick, Rhian Holmes. And
Oh,
like,
right.
You...
Well, that's because previous, yeah, you weren't letting Summer sing in here.
I wasn't
That
letting
was
someone sing it.
that was your
my
biggest
bad.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
For those eagle-eyed fans that are wondering about continuity, yes, we have just finished the Holdovers episode less than 15 minutes before. I'm being worked like a dog.
Oh, you're fine. You're talking about theatre camp. You're fine. There are people who worked out of mine. I still love theatre camp, Ray, and I'm not going to be negative Nancy. But this watch did drop down to number 11, and it was around 5, 6-ish.
I mean, did you watch it? Did you watch it before? Yeah, I'm assuming you did. The first watch was before Oscar nominations even dropped, right?
It was when it came out.
Yeah.
I watched it when it came out and gave it a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 review. Because I do think it is a perfect film. But no, I don't think it's a perfect film. I want you to lead this because you're incredibly positive, and I don't want there to be any negative energy because I don't think this is bad at all. This on the second watch,
I feel like this is bottoms, but role reversed because I didn't think it was bad at all, but because you had such a fervent passion about it, suddenly everything that I said was perceived as a criticism. I'll take the lead. Very rarely do I feel like a movie is made for me. As a white woman, I feel radically underrepresented. But I feel like this really hit the nail on the head. This was not just for me, but for us. As in you and I.
We did Waiting for Guffman like a month ago.
Yeah, but like that was like I could appreciate it for the obvious reasons, but this was like a league beyond. This is like fresh, contemporary, with all like a lot of my favorite people and people that would become my favorite people. And just spoke to me on a different level entirely.
No, I agree. It was great. I'm not going to be negative at all. I thought it was a wonderful film, and I still do. But yeah, on a rewatch, it did drop down. Whereas Dix the musical only grew in my estimation, and that's going to be another bottom situation. I can already feel it coming. This is based off the short film that was everything is conceived and improvised and all that sort of thing, very similar to the guest formula. This film is credited directors is Molly Gordon and Nick Lieberman, her partner, and which is the dream, obviously, in all ways. And then they're writing it and creating it with this lovely little foursome of Nick Lieberman, but chiefly Molly Gordon, Ben Platt, and Noah Galvin, who I didn't know were together.
Yeah, the two Evans.
Yeah, is that how they met?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, interesting. Everybody should fuck their replacement cast, making a rule. But
Passing at the torch.
in so many ways. No, theatre camp is delightful and it's wonderful and it's very funny and it's very, very good. And it moves like a bullet train. And I wouldn't cut anything at all. And I thought it was very, very funny. And I thought everyone was great in it. I just brushed up against some things this time that I just didn't before. And I was in the middle of the ocean and I was so sad. And this film came and it was so wonderful. And this time I don't know, I brushed up again. And I think I'm unfairly putting it up against Bottoms and Dix the Musical.
Brushed up against. Just getting it out of the way now.
I think I'm unfairly putting this up against Bottoms and Dix, which are two movies that I loved so very much and felt so original. And particularly in the place of Dix, I just thought Camp the Musical was a little bit underwhelming. I still think it is. And I liked the Studio 54 number, but apart from that, I'm just a little bit underwhelmed. And
see, I feel like we're really like discrediting the child acting in this movie, which is a charm that
they're sensational.
I haven't seen Dix the Musical yet, but I feel like it's a charm that the other two don't possess. And just like, I mean, the main players, like the kind of 4 or 5 adult cast, just being able to harness that like comedy that there's something really special about when like a kid actor says a line that they don't know is funny and they don't know why is funny, and that just makes it even better.
Explain that to me, please.
Well, because like, I mean, there's a lot of like references to like old Hollywood and like, like
I think the joy is that they do understand. They all felt very believable. They're all chanting the, Foster's Lapone, Streisand. I think the joy is that all of these people are on the same page and all love the same shit, and we all love. I think those kids know who Sutton Foster is and Patty and.
Well, sure, yeah. I'm not saying all the references would have gone over their head, but just like the Studio 54 stuff, I'm just like, you're gonna watch this back, and it's gonna like.
On the other hand, though, is it just not? Is it just like, isn't Mr. G the musical, isn't Ecstasy, Naughty Girl just that, but better and a little bit funnier?
Well, this is the thing, because I don't know if the makers of Theatre Camp would have been privy to the incredible Summer Heights High and all the spin-offs that came from that. So like, we are fortunate enough to have been exposed to it, and so we can draw those comparisons.
I don't want to say it's fraud.
No, I know. But like, yeah, I think it's easy to, because that is the point of reference that we have of like really overzealous drama teacher, like he takes everything with the utmost seriousness, but the work is that.
The work is puerile. 19 days. They shot it in 19 days with over 70 hours of footage. It's an incredible cast, and everybody. I think the great balancing act is that everybody's on the same page, and there are a lot of different forms of comedy in this, but it's mostly all playing down the line of that sort of dry we're going to say something funny and then immediately cut away. It's that great mockumentary style. This comes obviously in the middle of our, not in the middle, after. Oh no, Drop Dead Gorgeous hasn't come out yet, but we've just done all four Christopher Guest movies, and we're doing Drop Dead. We've done Drop Dead Gorgeous, which comes out later this year, and we're broaching doing a mockumentary ourselves. So it's sort of landed at a very peak time. And so I just very boringly.
Now you're kind of seeing it like from a directorial standpoint, I feel, with the second watch of like, okay, what would I have cut or what would I have fleshed out more? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like,
yeah, no, there were just
more
a few
approach. Whereas the first time, it's like, oh, I'm just enjoying.
No, I still enjoy it. I'm going to be wholly positive.
When?
I know. I'll be positive now. We start from the very beginning. You know what? You know what I think it is. There is an overwhelming sincerity to this that I think is my biggest sticking point. Like every time they talk about how great amateur theatre is and how powerful it is, which is a real thing, and it is a place to go and all that sort of thing. I don't know. It just stuck in my craw a little bit, and just felt a little bit like, oh, yeah, I know, and it just stopped dead. And it starts from the very beginning with real footage of like presumably the entire cast, and I mean, we see literal footage of Ben Platt and Molly Gordon doing, I don't know, Damn Yankees or something. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be, well, because is this like I presume their first like creative endeavor as like the four of them?
Yeah, this is
like first feature project.
Molly,
so it was always going to be a little bit of like a love letter to their former selves, like as much as they did also want to make like a spoofy comedy. And so I kind of liked, I was able to embrace that about it, of like, okay, there is a little bit of sentimentality here as well, because that this is the world that the writers came out of,
Oh yeah, there is an incredible tangibility and realism to all of this. That I mean, Caroline Aaron as Rita go, morning everybody, the cast lists are out, and her sigh and everybody bolting, it's great stuff, and it's incredibly, knowing, and we've all been there ourselves. Let's be positive. I'm going to be more positive, really. It's a New Year's resolution. It's not really. I never put that to stone, and you can't call me out on that when on the whale. But we meet Joan and Rita, and we meet the wonderful Amy Sedaris, who is so great and wonderful, and is in here more or less as a cameo as Joan. And she dies. She gets put into a coma from a strobe light of during a production of Bye Bye Birdie.
Yeah, I think I don't know, I appreciated the kind of exposition and like seeing her beforehand. I think they could have just as easily like had all of that as like a to camera explanation of like, and she was fatally struck down like by a strobe light.
Well, it is been a
funny gag as well, but I think just Amy Sedaris, like her charisma and charm, like it was so nice to see that, like, again, I could accept that, oh yeah, we're seeing it fleshed out as a.
Well, then we get this title card, and that's the way that they do a lot of their inter-camera stuff, is these title cards, which I think for the most part were very funny. And the the first one is one day into shooting, the subject of our documentary was in a coma, which is funny. And then we get Troy, the wonderful Jimmy Tatro, as Troy Rubinski, who is the son, and he is now running the company as a sort of baller, broy, and it's very funny. And
now, have you seen? I know you're going to say no, but have you seen American Vandal?
No, but I have flirted with watching it.
I highly recommend it. It's another mockumentary.
I know it's about
series.
They're doing it like it's a crime thing, but it's just graffiti, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, and he is like the linchpin. Is that the right word? Is that the second word of the day?
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know what you wanted to say, so I don't know if
he's
linchpin
kind
is
of
the right word.
he's like the focus of the whole thing because everybody thinks it's him.
Right.
And he plays that character so well, and he is kind of a Troy in that he's like the laid back, like high class clown, like doesn't really get this whole world, like doesn't get the creative arts, but is just kind of like along for the ride.
Yep.
So yeah, that was kind of my first real watch of Jimmy Thatcher, and he's just great.
He is. No, it's very funny. Troy, I don't know what to say. I don't want to be negative or low key because I don't have anything negative to say. I feel
Isn't that a blessing?
I feel a guilt or a weight that I should like this more because it is in so many ways, like you say, primed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you just feel like it is too similar to stuff that you've seen? Like,
I think I've seen
like
better.
Not really offering anything new to you.
Well, I put it in my review of like I thought like Mr. G the musical's funnier, Red, White, and Blaine is funnier. I, and yeah, this overwhelming sincerity that culminates in Camp Isn't Home that just didn't land for me, and I found it quite cringy. I'm sorry. A girl with an open snap. Or like, oh, great, fucking hell, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, but it is still very, very funny. What's a straight? Well, what would a gay play be? Well, a musical. The names Amos and Rebecca Diane, I enjoyed a lot. Specifically Rebecca Diane. I mean, it's no surprise to you, obviously, that Molly Gordon is now firmly positioned herself in the Thomas Carruthers crushes of recent era.
It is an Excel spreadsheet for those at home.
It's actually not, but I feel I should clarify that.
Business card.
I think I should actually clarify that it's.
Can I guess who they are currently?
When you say currently, so we're talking about people in the industry right now. Let's say
industry under the age of 40.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney.
Well, that's like a cheat, but yes, obviously.
Margaret Qualley.
Yes, big time. Oh.
Oh God, who's that other one?
She's got a movie coming out next week.
Next week?
No, it's in a week. Yes, it's Kingsley Benadir from Bob Marley One Love. No, it's Catherine Newton.
Catherine Newton, yes.
Catherine Newton's big. Who else? Phoebe Deniver, obviously. However, she did do a BAFTA thing earlier, and it was like, "What's your favorite snack?" And she was like, "Salted popcorn." And I was like, "Oh, bad." What's your popcorn stance, Rhian? Or are you going to say now that it's not vegan?
It is vegan. Although I like any and all pretty much. Sweet. Sweet is my go-to. If I'm in the cinema, I go for sweet.
Good.
I do like a toffee. I like a sweet and salted. I wouldn't go purely salted.
I do a big bag of sweet, and that's it. I do a bag of sweet and a Pepsi Max. And if I'm watching 2 movies in one day, if I'm feeling healthy, I'll have a green tea and a turmeric and a ginger shot from the Starbucks that's adjacent to the Cineworld. Or I will have a large milkshake with rum and raisin and 2. Oh, I love milk. I love ice cream so much. Anyway, enough about women.
If anyone's looking to assassinate Tom, you know his entire schedule.
Yeah. Well, yes, no, my life is empty. Play ball. When he's looking at the playbill for Sunset Boulevard in Glenn Close, he's like, play ball. Yeah, she's hot. That was quite funny. The film probably won me over when we had the great "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning" gag. But Right, let's discuss Ben Platt as a figure. Do you like Ben Platt? Do we like Ben Platt?
I
Because
love Ben Platt. I think
yeah,
he's an incredible, incredible vocalist. Like he's really like he really won me over with his album and his Radio City concert. I mean, since Pitch Perfect, he's just been
he's in Pitch
at the
Perfect.
forefront of my mind. Yeah, he plays Benji,
Stop
the
saying
magician.
I don't think I've officially seen that since it first came out.
Oh, you are seriously missing out. But I think actually Pitch Perfect is very much like Theatre Camp in the sense that it's making fun of itself, it's tongue in cheek, but it also has like
An
almost a
overwhelming
clean,
sincerity.
yeah, it is very sincere because you want to follow, like you want to make fun of these people, and then by the end you're really excited that they've won the competition. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so if that's not your bag, then
No,
that's
it is my bag. I love sincerity. I do, I do, I do, I do,
I do.
I do.
But yeah, that was I think the beginning of Ben Platt's like comedy, like character actor
He
takeoff, you
needed
know?
this. He needed this and Parade following the incredible choice to appear in the Dear Evan Hansen movie, which is a musical I don't enjoy at all.
See, I do. I did enjoy Dear Evan Hansen. I mean, not so much now that I'm older, I wouldn't like listen to it as much. But I think when all of that uproar was happening about him being cast, I felt as though it was like an old friend from school or whatever. I was like, oh Ben, you know, like I wasn't about to like get my pitchfork and torch out, you know, like
Even Noah
it's clearly a
Galvin's
part,
younger.
huh?
Surely this Noah Galvin's younger, and it would be more
Yes,
believable.
it could have very easily been Noah Galvin. It could have also rightfully been Andrew Barth Feldman,
Oh,
who
isn't he wonderful?
so wonderful and was also
I saw a
uh
tweet. I saw a
Evan Rod
tweet.
Rollo.
I saw a tweet, and it was about Legally Blonde, the movie, the musical, the
Oh,
movie casting, and they had him as Christian Ball, and I thought, oh, that's wonderful. And they had Christian Ball as uh as Callahan, and I thought, oh, that's interesting as well.
Andrew Barth
And
Feldman as Emmett. Oh,
yeah,
that's
big time.
interesting to me. I mean, he's a
Why?
little bit. I feel like he's a little bit young still, but in like 3 4 years
Well,
of
it takes
doing,
that long to make a movie. It doesn't take that long to make
yeah.
a movie, but
If
yeah,
it's the Wicked movie, it takes about 20 years.
we just thought that we couldn't tell the story of Wicked in 2.5 hours. Fuck you, the world, and every show. You know, I just, I was never understand that press release. We just thought we couldn't tell the story of Wicked in 2.5 hours. Anyway,
You absolutely could. It's
and
just whether
do
you can
every
pull it off.
night
Yeah.
all over the
Um.
world.
Yeah. Not a big Wicked fan.
I don't know what else.
Yes, Ben Platt.
Yes,
I think he's great, and obviously that role meant a lot to him. Because he originated it. But yeah, it probably should have gone to someone of my generation.
were you? What is that? Are you trying to do a version of My Generation by the Who?
No, I'm just I started saying it, and then I was like, oh, I'm actually getting old as well.
Yeah, we're all dying.
But in terms
Uh,
of playing high schoolers, I've still got a good decade in me yet.
well,
So thank you, Ben, for that
just get a
inspiration.
big wig.
Big
Uh,
wig,
Um,
shave my face.
there was a lot more comedy bits this time that just grated on me and didn't work. Like them,
Such as,
and I know that you're going to be like, oh, but I thought that would be us, and we could do that, and that's like us. We're so funny. The whole them introducing the season, I found incredibly cringy, and I know that it's kind of supposed to be
it's
cringe.
meant to be. That is like
I
stuff like
don't
that.
think it
That is
is though. I
cringy
don't
by design.
to an extent.
Yeah.
In the world of Andrew Lloyd Webber. I also think this is where it stretches credulity. And I know I'm so boring on this point of like making mockumentaries realistic, but like Are there actually two people in the world who would introduce the whole season doing and you know,
I think like it's
like,
it's less so like what they're doing, but like the fact that the kids are eating it up. Like these people, these ridiculous people are their idols. And so like anything that they create and do, like they're like, oh my God, this is incredible. We're getting like a
when
show to announce the shows.
when they cheer for Gigi, the costume designer, who then goes up and talks about the I can't do any piercings this year because there is a narc.
Someone is a narc.
Sally is a narc, or whatever, Sally
Yeah.
narked. Um, See, that's what worked for me on this watch is the gags and the actual lines and the dialogue and a lot of
The
the
bits that
broader
kind of
stuff.
like, yeah, the
Yeah,
lingering shots, like there's kind of zooms in and cuts away, like just the things that you don't need to spend too much time with to kind of build up the overall like feeling of it.
and we meet AO. It's the year of AO. She's not my favorite part of the film, I'll be honest. She
No,
was,
I'd agree
yeah,
with that. I think it's a funny addition. It feels akin to like, well, it just feels like, oh, let's put Io in the film. Like, let's write a character for her because she is very funny. But it, like, the character didn't really need to be there. It was just like a little side dish of like, here's another person who doesn't really understand the world, but they're gonna like try and blend in because they need the gig, you know?
yeah, and that's another thing where the credulity of the documentary feigns is like her credit is Janet lied on her resume. It's like would the documentarian actually put that in? How do they know that? Nobody's actually officially said these things. Still, it's very
Yeah,
funny.
I think
Stage combat.
like
What is it? No, what is it? Is very funny.
one one of my I think changes is maybe like I felt some of the title cards were a little lazy. Like they wanted to add more information in, like about
Yeah,
Rebecca Diane having a huge crush on Amos, or like you say, Janet lying on her resume. That like we could have found out through just like a little bit of sustained to camera confessional with one of them.
yeah. We didn't
And
have any
instead,
of that in this, and they made that choice. And you could look at that as a pace thing, but yeah, I think lazy is a strong word, but I don't. But I'd agree with you in the sense of yeah, I'd have preferred them to tell that story to camera, and it'd probably be a really funny moment.
but at the same time, like I think they had a lot to cover in an hour and a half, and so I'm okay with like just I'm okay with a little bit of reading. I don't mind. Let's talk about the posters for the previous uh season shows.
All underwhelming. None of them really made me laugh. I'm sorry.
Black
I'm
girl and
sorry.
Botox, don't give her any more lip.
I was like, okay. The only one that made me laugh was menstruation in the Middle East, a period piece. That made me laugh. But apart from all of them, like, oh, the briefcase and the salad, it's just nothing on IKEA the musical, which was me coming out of a load of different boxes, and Tsunami, which was about the Philippine tragedy set to the music of Bananarama. It's just so much fun. I know comparison is a fruitless form of criticism, as I always say, but none of the posters like really made me laugh. Sorry. And none of the songs, apart from the Studio 54 song, really made me laugh. And I also don't know why it was cut down so much. I just listened to the full version on the album.
Mm.
Great second verse and great second chorus.
You're telling me you didn't laugh at Jifka Shot?
It was all right, but why couldn't you read?
I don't know.
It's I don't want to
It's
be I
like
don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it's yeah, Jifka shot obviously yeah, ha ha ha. We all know how much I love JFK. Is that what you're referring to?
no, just like the
It's just
gag
in
of.
general.
Ugh,
Carry on.
okay, moving on.
Um, if you drop a bum note, or drop a line, what does that say about you? Very funny. Again, this is where the funny comes in. And also, this is where we notice that these kids are incredibly talented. Lots of,
Yes,
you're a John Mulaney fan. I presume you've seen the Sack Lunch Bunch.
I have.
What a great, that's another thing where like Netflix, like that is incredible. That is 70 perfect minutes of comedy and nobody ever talks about it. It's like never existed.
Well, me and my friends do, but that's
Yeah.
because we're nerds.
Yeah. What's your favorite Mark Ruffalo movie? Larry Kramer's The Normal Heart on HBO. But we get the kid doing Epiphany, who was very good. And then we get
The divorce monologues, great.
the divorce monologues.
Well, just like the really old, like kind of the what's the word? Like you got the kids doing like the really aged up acting, like dramatic.
Oh, I
acting
was talking about the song auditions when the lights cut off and the kid
Yes.
does Defying
Well,
Gravity
it's
and
like
hits.
they cut between them, don't they? It's like intersplice.
No, that's next. I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude. Favorite film of the year. She doesn't know our favorite film of the year.
Actually, I think Holdovers has taken the cake.
So Holdovers, then Theatre Camp.
Yeah.
Then
Probably Bottoms.
or Molly
Then
Cobb.
oh no, because I really liked Priscilla. I
Priscilla
did.
was great.
It's probably Priscilla and then Bottoms and then no, it's really hard. It is really hard.
It's really hard.
It's
It is
so
really hard,
different
isn't
as
it?
well. It's like why like it feels almost like moot to rank them when they're all offering something so different and a different
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, but you can still rank them. Um,
I'm just pulling at the thread of your entire life. Sorry.
She's come this summer instead of sitting shiver for her cousin. Very funny. Again, it's these lines and also these incredibly talented children. Not one gag at the expense of a bad child. Like I was expecting, like a nativity, montage, oh Danny boy, the fights are calling, and
well, like yeah, it did feel kind of like nativity in the sense of like the kids are naturally very funny, but then like the adults do a lot to kind of bolster them.
can we get this Bailey Bonnick in a production of Annie already? She's Jifka Short. She has great
Yes.
tone.
Oh
She
my
has
God.
great tonality. She's wonderful.
Incredible.
And the lad who was in, I think he was definitely in Sack Lunch Bunch. Uh, it's not showing up. This is a great tragedy. But overall, yeah. What's next?
I think it's more realistic to this particular institution that they all needed to be like actually good.
Why don't we
Because
have
they're
theatre
so
camps in
stressful.
England and summer camps?
Well, we don't have like sleepaway camps in the
Yeah,
same way that the States do
we
because
don't have
like it would
heats.
just be a ball like trying to organize kids. I mean, I'm sure they exist somewhere, but like yeah, we just don't have the
Yeah.
heat, don't have the weather for it. But like I mean, I've taught at like week-long intensive like um theater like summer schools
Mm.
and you do like 9 to 4 and then you go home and then you put on a show uh at the end of the week, which is pretty fun.
I love shows. I love putting on a show. I miss
And
theatre.
I have found myself like I always vowed that obviously coming from a theater background that I wouldn't ever forget what it felt like to be a kid like in that situation. Like I wouldn't push
In
people
case
too
you had to
hard.
play Dear Evan Hansen on in the film.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I said that I wouldn't like push people too hard. Like I wouldn't like get too invested and forget that like this is just like fun. Like it should just be like an exercise in fun. And then a
They enjoy
child
being
came
pushed
off
hard.
stage. Yeah, then a child came off stage and asked me if they could go to the bathroom, and I was like, what? Have you no respect for the craft? They were like 6. I didn't actually do that, but I was like shocked and appalled that they even asked me to use the bathroom
Yeah.
in the middle of the performance.
I don't. What happened? Yeah, yeah. We're going to take a break and then we're going to continue talking about theatre camp and I'll do some coke or something to pick up my positivity. Because this film is great. It is great. And we're back to talk about and round out our discussion on theatre camp. Rhian's used to be favourite film of the year.
It's definitely up there. It is up there. And I mean, technically, it is. It could still be my favorite film of the year because I watched Holdover in 2024, and I watched
No,
Theatre Camp in 2023.
no, you have to do the Thomas Carruthers way of doing things. You have to allow. I allow January, and
So much of my chagrin has come from having to play by the Thomas Carruthers way of doing.
well, do you see the holdovers genuinely as a 2024 film?
I don't know.
Or Priscilla? Or like
I guess okay, if we're thinking in terms of like seasons,
I don't yeah, I it's it's a hard decision I
lump them all
made.
in together. Why
I
not?
remember Will railing into me for having The Father in one of the years, and he was like, no. I was like, yes. Thrilling life I lead. Um,
There's
uh,
something we can do from railing in. No, okay.
do you want to go character by character, or do you want to go scene by scene? Because more, well, oh no, I'll just continue going down my notes.
Okay.
The gay witch's spell was very funny. Um, posters. Oh, that says Peters. Um, the channeling of Joan at the casting again worked both times for me. Very, very funny. Very, very the wonderful Molly Gordon, who was great in Shiver Baby. You know.
Yeah, Molly, like everything I've seen Molly Gordon in so far has been great. I do.
Oh, it all makes sense. You love the bear.
I love the bear.
Ah, I was wondering, wow,
And
why?
this like web of Io Debris, Molly Gordon, Rachel Sennett, Multiverse of Madness. Uh, the bear is great.
Is Rachel Sennett in the bear?
No, Rachel Sennett isn't in it, but like
She's in the club.
the yarns are there, the connections are there.
I obviously follow them all on Instagram, and they are. I just believe they're all friends from New York, aren't they? The New York,
Yeah, they went
Brooklyn.
to NYU Tisch. They've
Mm.
been called the boy genius um of like the new age film world. Boy Genius is
I know who Boy Genius is. Don't you dare. I know. I don't just because I don't listen to any of their music and can't name the other two, Phoebe Bridgers, and the other two, doesn't mean I don't know who they are.
Julian Baker and Lucy Dacus. See, we're all getting educated today.
Fake names. And I know about Bo Burnham, and I know about Paul Mescal being thrown under the bus. Um, I had a jump scare earlier. I was listening to a podcast, and it was Paul Mescal talking about his approach to the character in All About Oliver Strangers, and he said that the character was supposed to be from Leeds, and and I said, Paul, beg to differ.
Settled for a Harry Styles type accent.
I'm rich, trying to come inside. Sorry.
I will say, while we're on the subject, saw Oliver Strangers 2 days ago. Absolute daylight robbery of any nominations.
All
Like,
right.
I'm appalled, shocked, and dismayed that Andrew Scott has not had all the Oscars yet.
And he never will. What is that from? That's a musical theatre song. I'm appalled. I'm appalled. God.
It's actually from Dear Evan Hansen.
No, it's this. I'm gonna 1 minute. I'm appalled. I had this with Will. Me and Will we're very drunk, and we're going to see the Adam Sandler musical. It is amateur dramatics production, and and earlier in the day we got into our heads. Are you kidding? For like all day, we couldn't figure it out. Do you know what it is? Are you kidding? And it was stuck in our head all day.
It's not Company, is it?
No, it's not Company. And then we said it to Harry, who was playing Gomez, and he was wonderful as Gomez. And we said, Harry, do you know? Are you kidding? And he went, Chicago, isn't it? And we both reached for the gun, and I literally kissed him on the forehead because it had been so long.
God. Yes.
And I'm appalled.
I'm gonna be no.
I know. No, I know what it is. I know what it is. It's The Prom. Did you watch The Prom?
Not the. Did I watch the movie? Yes, I did. Yeah.
It's Meryl Streep's big song. I see what's happening here, and frankly, I'm appalled. Very good. Well, no, I'm as gay as a bucket of wigs. The wonderful James Corden.
Oh, that's why I repressed it.
And what a waste of Nicole. Anyway, the wonderful Andrew Reynolds. Anyway, The Prom was fine. Castles of Alan Park. The joke of the kid Alan Park who wants to be an agent. Why did he come to the club? Why did he come to the camp then?
Well, because he might
I'm
have
sorry,
started
I'm
out as
being...
a performer, as a lot of Asians often do. But
sorry.
yeah, I thought that was unbelievable.
I'm sorry.
You thought I said Asians, didn't you?
Sorry.
I think we're better place to be than surrounded by young actors with no representation.
You sound like Bryan Singer. That's dark. Rhian's now Googling Bryan Singer. The costumer, very funny. And then the acting class and then after the casting, Troy with the moms, if you want to bribe me, I want you to know I know. How does Theatre Camp work? So they do 4 different productions, but does Clive choreograph them all?
I assume so, yeah. So
then why are they so I want Darla for this. You're leaving me nothing for Damn Yankees.
How do you mean? Like with the casting?
I don't know.
So I'm trying to find holes. Okay.
I'm not trying. There's enough holes in there. She wrote the finale. Who wrote the finale?
She did.
Who's they? She finished it, and what? Ben Platt was nowhere to be found. He
will be found.
He put on a production.
Well, no, because didn't he briefly leave, or like he was dealing with like all the admin bullshit once Troy was like, yeah, we've got no money.
Doesn't make any sense, Rhian, and it doesn't, and that's okay.
I feel like they could have like set aside an hour when Ben Platt was like off doing something else to like.
No, but in his head, how does the show finish? He's put on a show that doesn't have an ending.
Oh, I see. So he's just sat watching it.
He's like,
I guess they'll just stop at the end, like stop where we've got to.
He makes no announcement of like the show has no ending. Ignore that.
It's like the script is finished, but they just wouldn't have a finale song, which is obviously shit, but like they would still have an ending. And then they would do their bows and like
she she disappeared and kidnapped all of these children to teach them a 4-part harmony.
Listen. If we're gonna
it's all right. No, I know.
Believability. No, but if we are, they wouldn't have been able to do any of this in that.
Well, no, I think I could. I put on my musical in. Did I show you Up North Downtown? Have you watched that yet?
I saw like clips of it on WhatsApp. from the rehearsal.
So you haven't, so I haven't shown you the full thing.
No,
Oh, Rhian, I'll save that for the, well, not for Oscars, but that's
for
probably the
us.
greatest thing I've ever done
I'm so
that
excited.
that we ever did. Um, uh, they write Alan Park costumes acting class. They write a musical about new what? This is when I realized that maybe I do have bad handwriting. Um, Clive's. I loved Clive, the wonderful Clive DeWitt, played by Nathan Lee Graham, and who I only just realised now, pressing on his name, is Todd from Zoolander.
No.
But you can just when he's doing those stories of like 80s Broadway, you're like, oh yeah, this is completely believable. I completely enjoy this. And I don't know. You talk about it. You lead it. I had to do this for Dragon
The
Tattoo
for Joan Still, or like
for
where
the
are we up
show.
to?
Talk about anything you like.
I mean, I don't know, like I feel like it's on par with Red, White, and Blaine. Like, I mean, it's got more kind of production quality, which I mean didn't really matter to me, but yeah, like I don't know, I thought all the gags worked for me, and like I didn't feel like it was too short, although it would have been nice to have like some of the songs like extended.
It was only like
And
three.
just the reveal of Noah Galvin as the aged up woman was just immense.
Very beautiful. Very well done.
Yeah.
Wonderful makeup. Uh,
And just Troy clapping, like being the sole person to clap, and everyone else is like, "What?"
that's another. I'm sorry. I don't want to be rude. That's another thing. Who he never rehearsed. They never did anything. He never.
Because
Ben
he was
Platt didn't
always
know.
watching from the
Sure,
sidelines.
sure. Ben
He
Platt.
just knew.
Ben Platt knew that Noah Galvin was going to be it in the show. He's just said
Well,
goodbye
no,
to Darla
this is a genuine hole.
because
Like,
he reacts
um,
to the replacement card in the understudy program as if that's the first thing he's ever heard, and then rushes
yeah,
out to Darla saying you can't take the film.
I don't know why he like. Well, no, I know why he would have gone to the show even if he thought it was going to be like a disaster, because it's still his baby for most part. But just get on board. All of the football players die at the end of Bottoms, and you just told me to get on board, and you can't get on board with,
You haven't
oh,
even,
he didn't know there was going to be an understudy. Give me a fucking break.
you're not ready for Dick's the musical. You have no
I'm
idea.
not clearly.
I really think you might turn on me. I don't think you might. Um, when they scream at
Watch
him,
this space for our brawl.
yeah. When they bully him and call him a cishet bitch, that was very funny. Um, Will Ferrell, I'm getting very good at voices. I knew that it was Will Ferrell as the bank manager, and then I looked up and he put some money into the film, which is nice.
Oh wow.
It has nothing to do with my IBS, Roger. Very funny. Those again, all lots of very funny stuff in there. You're the oldest soul in this room. This is your last life. Very very funny. Um, yeah. I'm not going to change my review or rewrite my review or anything like that because that wouldn't be truthful. But
Do you want to
I
give a
don't.
snippet of the review?
I gave it 10 out of 10. A just perfect 10 out of 10 comedy, crafted and delivered so beautifully and homespun with a pace that so many comedies in this modern day miss desperately. This is cliched, and this is something we have seen prior in multiple very specific and some more general ways. However, the highs of this film's comedy and its final heartfelt punch, which chiefly never fails to sacrifice humor either, is a sort of magic trick where you can imagine stories of hours and hours of improv. However, are thankful that ultimately the film comes down to a sublimely tight 90-minute joy. It's incredibly specific in its humor, and I'm not leveling against the film that it won't hit for all, as I do think the film has mass general appeal. However, for those it will sing to, and in many ways for those it is made for, this will land for them like no film in recent memory.
Where did the magic go, Tom? Where did he go?
I don't know. The PS is, to be honest, I was a little underwhelmed on the first go around with the final musical. It was certainly very funny and has grown on me immediately, but it unfortunately fell victim of things wholly out of its control. In that I've just seen many better versions of what this final musical did a few times over now in this exact sort of mockumentary fashion. It's not better for me than Red, White, or Blaine or Mr. G the musical. Now, every time someone makes one of these mockumentaries about theatrical types, I just give over because they always end up favourite films of mine. However, this one on first watch, anyhow, did feel slightly underwhelming with its final offer. But this is a reverse case where I'm not letting my personal bias remove from this film rating that it very much deserves.
And let's leave it on that note, shall we?
No, yeah, no, I'm
So
sorry.
is
I'm
this
being
your
so
third watch?
second. Um,
Second.
yeah. The Rotary
So you
Club
didn't
scene.
watch it a third time to prepare for this. You're
No,
going
this
off
is.
of.
I watched it once. I wrote that review. 5 months later, I've watched it again for this
Well, because you
podcast.
said it paled. It paled for me the last sequence the first time around, but has grown on me since. So that was just like from memory.
From the week in between me watching it and writing the review.
Okay, so who knows? A third one. It might be an alternating relationship. The third watch, you
Like
could
Ben Platt and Noah Galvin, who knows?
yeah, you could like reinstill some of that initial joy that you had. And then the fourth watch you'll hate it again, and then fifth.
No, I don't hate it. I don't
No, I
hate
know
it.
I'm only teasing.
I think its biggest negative is that it I really loved Bottoms on like a third watch that
Yeah.
and it didn't change for me. And Dick's the musical, I think it's the most original and exciting and
I mean
still boundary pushing.
we can weigh up all three once I've seen them, but I think Bottoms is probably appeals to you more because it's like it is edgier humor. They can push the
I
envelope a little
don't
bit
like
more.
edgy humor, Rhian.
Not edgy as in like ooh edgy, but like just it's more adult. It is because it's a different
I
rated.
love I oh, and Monsters Inc. isn't one of my favorites, and Beauty and the
No,
Beast
but
isn't
do you
one
know
of
what
my
I mean?
favorites.
Like the humor is like it's more daring, it's more like rude, and they couldn't take as many risks with this kind of film because that's not really what it was.
No, and I don't want it to be.
Yeah,
I don't
but I
want
feel
it to
I
be.
don't know. I feel like that was probably one of the ways that Bottom kind of clipped or eclipsed theatre camp.
Well,
But
you've already dismissed the fourth in this trifecta of no hard feelings. You're like, meh, nah.
I well that interestingly that was another one that like it started out really funny and then it had like a lot of weird sincerity to it. So I was surprised
Yeah,
that
that
you took
really
to it.
stopped it dead. Yeah. No, 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 no. I did this in my review. I think I gave it like 7 out of 10. That the trying to turn it into some sort of sweet thing near the end was like
Mm.
a sledgehammer. And I don't want them to get together, but oh, Laura Benanti, what a woman. She was Andrew's mother, and she's a great
I know.
broad. Oh, sorry.
I know who Laura Benanti is.
Oh, okay. What do you like Laura Benanti from?
Um She Loves Me.
You love She Loves Me.
I like She Loves Me. I saw it in Penarth Pavilion many moons ago.
What?
So it was an Amdram. Um
Oh, And then you watched the Amdram and then
No, I'd listened to it before that. Yeah, I actually.
have you watched the Pro Shot?
No.
Oh, Rhian, it's sensational. It's one of my Christmas watches. I watch it every Christmas.
Maybe I should. Maybe
Oh,
I
it's
should.
so good.
Maybe that's
Wonderful. Jane Krakowski. Oh, she loves me. What a beautiful show. And thank God Zachary Levi has such great political opinions, or else that might be tainted on rewatches. But he doesn't, so it's fine.
Was that legitimate? Was that serious?
No, he's I think he's anti-vax and something else as well. He's it's not great, Zach. I
But
did
look at
that.
us, underestimating each other. Me with Boy Genius, you with Laura Benanti.
Well, I mean, what about that great joke I did where you were talking about somebody being pregnant at a Beyonce concert, and I said, "What if she says hush?" And everyone was like, and everyone was like,
Yay!
both. It wasn't even you didn't even get the laugh out because you were like, "Oh, that was really funny and really." Uh, specifically Bella. Specifically Bella was amazed. See, I know things, not just about JJ Lenhol's scarf. Um, the web link to the what is it? First run of camp. Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. I just the Camp Isn't Home song. When everyone was like, "Let's get this a Best Original Song nomination," and I was like,
well, it's not meant to be like very good.
"Lonely"
It's
from
like
Dix the Musical should have won Best Original Song.
it's the whole point is like it's thrown together, but and you're gonna laugh, and I don't care. I was in the cinema. I had chills.
Not laughing.
They're
I'm not
all
laughing.
together, and it was good. It did everything that I needed it to do.
I like the song once it begins. Once it gets into the actual song. But I find the opening and the way in which they reintroduce just her random sitar. That's not a sitar, whatever it is, and she's just like, "Oh boy, looking." I was like, "Please don't make this the real song." I literally when she, because I in the back of my head I thought they're going to turn this into a real song. And so half of my chills were
A place we
abate.
can call Joan.
Yeah, that's quite funny. I mean, it then of course gives way to the great. I always thought that being pretty wasn't everything; it's just a bonus. And then I want to live my truth as a heterosexual man, and the two gay dads. Um, Rhian's looking off and imagining Joan, Amy Sedaris.
I am alive in all our hearts.
Who is this? Is this Ruby?
Oh
Ruby, what did you think of Theatre Camp?
She's gone. The the fake out of her being in the other
That was great.
hospital
Yeah, yeah.
incredible.
And then the after credit scene.
Yes. Yeah.
You didn't stay for the after credit scene, did you?
Yeah. I just can't
You
remember what it was.
Don't let Troy run the camp. She wakes up.
Yeah.
You were terrible for after credit scenes.
No, I stay for like pretty much everything.
You
I
didn't stay for
Strangers wasn't gonna have like a witty post credits. So.
When did you cry during All of Us Strangers?
Oh, it was.
I didn't actually cry until
I had a lot of moments where I was like, oof.
Yeah.
Like that really hit me. Because I mean, Andrew Scott. Like, I've never seen an actor who has that many tasks of crying basically throughout the whole thing and makes every one of them different, believable, and like not over the top. But yeah, the scene with his dad when his dad apologizes to him.
Well, I wanted to bring this up because I famously did such a scene, and you were like, "Oh yeah, no, oh you're really good at doing the whole sad dad thing," and it's all right.
Yes,
it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Anyway, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Oh, yeah. That will stay with me for life. Um, no, I didn't really cry because I struggle crying in like theaters when people are watching me, or like I feel.
Just said you cried at a girl with an open snapple.
I didn't cry. I had chills.
I go with an open snapple.
I had a little diamond tear when they're at the diner.
Yeah, that was
I'm
good.
still talking about all those treasures.
Yeah.
And the thing
45 years. You're on the 45 years train still, aren't you?
yeah, I mean I haven't watched it since, but it's too
Um, Debbie Perry wearing tights, David Giffen doing deals was very funny. Studio 54 was great. Noah Galvin will be, I think, the only person from this cast to get a Thomas Carruthers Award nomination, possibly for supporting. Oh, it's a very tight field. Nathan Lane is going to be in there for a dual nomination for Beau is Afraid and Dix the Musical. Big duel.
I was afraid.
He's wonderful. Good morning, Beau. How are you? It's very good. It's good fun. Studio 54 and Cute Cocaine, very funny. I won't talk about, how camp isn't home. This doesn't make any sense. Um, live in, live in my truth as a heterosexual man, very funny. Um,
Brilliant.
and then the final title cards, which for me mostly worked. What did you think of the whole forced argument and arc of the relationship between Amos and Rebecca
Amos
Diane?
and Rebecca Diane. I didn't think it felt forced. I don't know. I think it spoke to a very I guess pressing issue on my mind at this phase in my life of like the relationship between like
Having a friend
former
who works on cruises.
yeah, well, like the kind of postgraduate fog and like being a jobbing actor and then like a teacher and like I do resent the people that are like those can't do teach, but like there is a pipeline with a lot of people that are like, okay, it feels easier and more fruitful and more rewarding to just focus all my energy and efforts into teaching than to just be like beaten down by the industry. And so like and I also have a lot of friends in theater circles who really are resentful of other people's success, which you know I've
I
I'm
understand.
fortunate to
Oh,
say
no.
that I've not felt that so keenly that it kind of eliminate. I mean, I've been jealous, sure, but
You
like
were jealous of bloody Rachel Senna in the Bottoms podcast.
I know she's not my friend, but like yeah, I think it's that conflict of like um wanting to be proud of somebody who you grew up with, but also like this is not the plan. Like we said that we were gonna,
Yeah.
put all our eggs in this basket, and now you're standing off.
Do a gender reverse Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. But no,
Um,
I thought it was believable, and yeah, with I've met Amos's throughout
yeah, I
my
take back I
life.
take back forced. I take back forced. I didn't
Yeah.
actually mean that. Um, no, I think Ben Platt is great in this. I think everybody's great in this. I think everybody's very good. I'm so sorry about this negativity.
I think that you've come this far into your podcasting career. You love an argument, you love a debate, and so you wanted to just argue with yourself. That's all. That's it. That's the boss
I
level.
don't. Let's break that one down. Podcasting
I
career.
I am
Interesting.
kidding, obviously. I think you're more than entitled to not a change of heart, but like it's kind of paled over time with the emergence of other such great comedies. Like we said with in the Bottoms episode, like it's been a great year for comedy.
But is that unfair? I say it time and time again in my reviews. Often, I say comparison is a fruitless form of criticism, and then immediately start comparing things.
Do it. Your
Yeah.
whole shtick is let's put these into categories and lists and rankings. I
Okay.
think there's a lot. This really anal retentive neurotic thing that you have. No,
They used to call me
I think
anal girl.
it's very fair to say that this was, well, we don't have to have a definitive ranking because this series is just best films of 2023, and I think it's still earned its place among the
Yes.
rest, even if it's maybe not the best.
It doesn't seem that I'm going to have time to rewatch a series of currently I've got Asteroid City at 28, and do I actually think that Fair Play was better than that? Yeah, I, I did enjoy Fair Play. Or was I just in the middle of the ocean? No new good movies coming in, and I managed to get a copy of Fair Play, and I watched it alone, and I thought everybody was very good, and it was a little bit hot, and it was a good movie.
It had
I
been
mean,
so long in the ocean since you'd felt the embrace of a woman.
um, yes, no, Fair Play did come out the week where she left again. Um, it did. No, I remember it because I downloaded it in New York, and we had a rain, and it was raining outside, and she'd left me. Uh, this is how I denote my life. I chapter my life by romantic failures and movie releases. Jesus Christ.
Theatre camp.
And our final, that's not true. We've got two left on this 2023 series. The wonderful Dixon musical, which as of now came to number 5 and has knocked out The Killer and Maestro.
Wow.
I do. I think, yeah, no, I do. I do. It has all the songs that I wish were in this, and it has I listen to those songs all the time. I feel the beat, beat, beat of your thumping heart. Oh, Dixie Musical, what a great. Also, oh, I've got some hot takes. I've got 3 pages of notes. I'm very much ready. This glimpse behind the curtain. We were supposed to be doing this now, and so I am so ready. And now I'm gonna go sell dog food for a week, and then I don't.
I'm making you wait for it, but the payoff will be great. Whether we're just like gushing about it for an hour or whether we're having the most heated argument of our lives.
I just have no idea. What's your? I have watch it with people. Watch
Okay.
it with Bella and Ruby, and let Bella have some of that tea that she likes to drink. Wink, wink. And have that general vibe. And I
Sure.
think be drunk. I,
You think I need to be inebriated to enjoy this?
no, I don't. I don't.
Pop a quick tab and just let loose.
Oh no, yeah. I really want you to watch May December. I'm ready for you to watch Oppenheimer, and then you just be like, "Oh yeah, but that was boring."
I will be watching all of these, like all the ones that have been sent my way. I mean, with the exception of like Beau is Afraid, because can't be asked.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I've got Jay. Me and Jay are gonna do Tom and Jay Weirdo Corner for Beau is Afraid. Don't worry.
that should be the new name.
You've got what's left on your checklist now. You need to watch May December. You need to watch Oppenheimer. You need to watch Dick's Musical. We've got the wonderful Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, which is
Yes.
really beautiful. And then you've got the
American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, Poor Things, Zone of Interest. I'm gonna do Rustin, Naiad and The Color Purple as well.
Already forgot about The Color Purple.
See, I love The Color Purple. I did so many essays on it in college and drama
Did you?
school.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, loved the book, loved the film, and loved the musical. So the musical of the film.
This is the
musical.
I'm not saying this is weird, but like I just didn't know you were such a diehard Color Purple fan.
I mean, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just one of them ones, like, I don't
Because
know which one
you know that the film is like critically maligned.
like they didn't
Lots of people thought Spielberg fucked it up.
Sure, I mean it wasn't like amazing, but I don't know, I didn't think it was like terrible. But yeah, I'm very excited to watch.
And I'm here. Yeah,
Every musical theatre girl has had a time in her bedroom or kitchen just like absolutely butchering that song because it's the only place they can like do it.
Oh, I'm gonna end this podcast now because I've got an incredible joke that I want to put in. Yes, and so how does yes, no, theatre can be is wonderful. I'm so sorry, I feel sorry. I feel it has an incredible. I don't know if the songs were better. I don't know. I just think the premise of Joan. It's like, oh, all right, best you could do.
But is it kinda? It kind of is. I think it kind of is.
sorry, sorry, sorry. Reflex. Okay. Yeah. Let go with an open starboard.
A boy looking down.
I know. What's the other thing?
I don't remember.
Exactly. Exactly. It was a trap, Rhian. Whereas when you watch Dixie Musical, you're going to be like, I slay pussy everywhere. Oh, it's just an incredible film. Oh. Anyway, bye-bye.
Dabba 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 da da ba 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 ba